All right, so get this. We're going deep today.
Ooh, sounds intense.
It is, kinda. We're tackling artificial intelligence.
The buzzy topic of the moment.
Exactly. Specifically, those large language models, the
Like
LLMs.
ChatGPT, everyone's heard of that by now, right?
Right. The ones that can write anything, code, even pass, like, the bar exam. It's crazy.
It's wild what they can do.
But here's the thing. We've got a whole stack of research.
Bro, this is where it gets good.
Yeah, including this kind of bombshell report from
Apple. Interesting.
Yeah, and basically it's saying all this amazing AI, maybe it's, well,
Not all it's cracked up to be.
yeah. Like, are we being sold a fantasy about how smart these things really are?
The big question.
That's what we're diving into. Is it all smoke and mirrors?
Well, there's definitely been a ton of hype, that's for sure.
I mean, it's understandable they do some remarkable things.
Oh, absolutely. Generating text like human quality on any topic you can think of, translations, creative stuff. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, just a few years ago, this was sci-fi stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
But that's exactly why this skepticism is so important.
Right, like Apple's coming out strong saying these LLMs, they're not actually reasoning the way we do.
A bold claim.
It is! They're saying it's more like supercharged memorization.
Really good mimicry, but not like genuine understanding.
Exactly. Like a parrot who's learned to say all the right phrases.
But doesn't get the meaning behind them.
Okay, so to back this up, Apple, they use this example.
Oh, I love this one. The Linda versus Bob problem.
Linda versus Bob.
Yeah, it shows how even humans, we make these logic mistakes sometimes.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So imagine I describe Linda. 31, single, outspoken, loves social justice, that kind of thing.
All right, got it. Picture her.
Now, what's more likely? Linda's a bank teller. Or Linda's a bank teller, Andy active in the feminist movement.
Well, the second one kind of fits the description more.
Right. Most people jump to that, even though statistically it's less likely.
It's like our brains want the story to fit.
Exactly. It's called the conjunction fallacy, a classic reasoning error.
Huh. I never knew that.
So they gave this to LLMs, and often they got it right.
Okay, so they're smart.
But UT, only when it was Linda.
Oh.
They changed the name to Bob, same description, and the LLMs messed up.
No way. Just the name change.
Yep, they didn't see the fallacy anymore. Answers were all over the place.
That's kind of worrying. Like a name shouldn't change the logic.
That's exactly what made Apple think these LLMs, they aren't getting the deep concept.
Like they memorized a pattern. Linda, social justice equals feminist.
But the actual reasoning behind it, they're missing it.
Wow. Okay, so Apple, to prove this, they made these custom data sets.
Oh yeah, designed to expose these weaknesses.
Like a test with trick questions.
Kinda. One was GSM symbolic. They took math problems, but changed stuff that shouldn't affect the answer.
Like what?
Names, rearranging details, stuff a human who gets the math wouldn't even notice.
Ah, so they're testing if the LLMs get thrown off by superficial things.
Exactly. And, well, their performance tanked.
Seriously?
Yeah, compared to the normal datasets, even the most advanced LLMs struggled.
So it's like they're getting fooled by wordplay.
Because they haven't actually learned the rules, just memorized patterns.
This is wild. Is this just Apple being skeptical or other researchers finding this too?
Oh, Apple's not alone, not at all.
Really?
Remember that MIT study? They found LLMs did worse than a statistical method from the 70s.
From the 70s, like before the internet.
Yeah, trying to spot weird stuff in data, AI got beat by something ancient.
That's almost unbelievable.
It's true. And University of Pennsylvania, similar thing, they showed LLMs are swayed by irrelevant information.
Like that name swap trick.
Exactly. So you got all these different researchers, different methods, all saying the same thing. LLMs might be doing complex stuff, not because they understand it.
But because they've basically memorized the answers from all that data they're trained on.
Like cramming for a test, but not actually learning the material.
So does that mean we're judging their intelligence wrong just because they can do these tasks?
It's what some call the task complexity familiarity conundrum.
Catchy name.
Right. We're impressed by the complexity, but what if they're just repeating what they've seen before?
Like a really good mimic, not a true thinker.
There's this benchmark, ARC-AGI. It tests if AI can solve problems they've never seen.
Oh, like a true test of intelligence.
Exactly. And even the most advanced LLMs, they bomb it.
So the question is, are these limits just a matter of scale?
Will making them bigger, giving them more data, will that eventually lead to real reasoning?
Or is there something fundamentally different about how they think?
That's the million-dollar question.
And that's what we'll dig into next, because if bigger isn't better, then what does that mean for the future of AI?
And are we even on the right track? That question of scale, It's really something, isn't it? Like, what if just making these models bigger, it's not the answer?
Yeah, it's kind of like a reality check, you know? We're talking huge GE investments, billions of dollars.
Oh, absolutely. And it goes beyond just like Silicon Valley.
Right, it's everything. Healthcare, education, self-driving cars.
Exactly. Like, what if all these things are relying on AI that's making decisions based on, well, what we're learning about these LLMs?
It makes you wonder, are we putting too much trust in something that might not be as reliable as we think?
That's the worry, right?
Yeah.
Imagine like a medical diagnosis tool,
Okay. Yeah.
and it's been trained on data that's, I don't know, maybe skewed somehow.
See how?
Like accidentally learned to connect certain symptoms with, say, a specific demographic, even though there's no medical reason.
Oh, wow. That's scary. Like misdiagnoses, wrong treatment.
Exactly. And it highlights this need for like transparency.
Yeah, transparency and accountability.
We need to know what they're trained on, how those choices are made, what biases might be in there.
Because right now it's kind of a black box.
It is, and it's not just about like the potential for harm.
What else?
It's also managing expectations, right?
Mm.
If we keep hearing AI is about to become like truly intelligent, even conscious,
Which some people believe.
right? But if that doesn't happen, what then? People might turn against the whole idea of AI.
Oh, right. Like those AI winters we talked about.
Exactly, when the hype gets ahead of reality, and then poof, no more funding. Progress stalls.
It's like that cycle. You get super excited, then disappointed, and that hurts everyone.
Totally. So I think, we're at this
A
crossroads.
turning point.
This research from Apple, it's like a wake-up call. It's making us pause and think
To be more realistic.
about what these LLMs can actually do and maybe what we're even trying to achieve.
So instead of just like throwing more data at the
I'm
problem,
going to be smarter about it.
more strategic.
Yes. Move beyond just mimicking humans, build systems that are, more robust, less likely to make those logic mistakes.
But I mean, we're not saying LLMs are useless.
No, not at all.
They're powerful for certain things like writing creative stuff,
Yeah.
translating languages, summarizing information,
It's about using the right tool for the job.
and knowing the limits.
Exactly. And honestly, this shift in focus, it could lead to even better AI, more ethical AI.
Oh, how so?
Instead of trying to replace humans entirely, we can think of AI as like an extension of ourselves.
Helping us do things we couldn't on our own.
Exactly, solving complex problems together.
Okay, so more realistic expectations, focus on ethics, and this idea of augmentation, not replacement.
That's the idea, a good roadmap.
But how do we get there? What are the actual steps?
Well, first, we need more research like what Apple's doing,
Keep testing, finding those flaws.
and use that knowledge to make the next generation of AI better.
So less hype, more transparency, more rigorous testing.
Exactly. And invest in new ways of doing AI, not just bigger versions of what we have.
New approaches entirely.
Yeah. Like there's this thing called neurosymbolic AI.
Neurosymbolic, what's that?
So remember symbolic reasoning.
Refresh my memory.
It's like representing knowledge with symbols and rules. It was big in AI decades ago.
But kind of got overshadowed by deep learning.
Right. But now the idea is combine those two.
So you get the power of deep learning, but with the logic and explainability of symbolic AI.
Exactly. You create systems that are both powerful and we understand how they're making decisions.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So more research, new approaches, focus on transparency, anything else we need to remember.
One big thing.
Yeah.
This isn't just a tech issue, it's a societal one.
Oh, right. It affects everyone.
We need to talk about, like, what role we want AI to play in our lives.
What are our values? What are the ethical lines we can't cross?
Exactly. These aren't just, like, philosophy questions. They need to be part of how we actually build these systems.
It's not just about the tech, it's about how we use it.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
And that brings us to, the big question. If we can get past the hype and limitations,
What does the future of AI hold?
what are the possibilities, both good and bad? Let's explore that in part 3.
So we've talked about the skepticism, the implications, like where do we go from here? But now I kind of want to like zoom out.
Big picture.
Yeah. The future of AI, are we talking like utopia with helpful robots or, dystopian nightmare robots taking over?
The classic sci-fi question, right?
It is. But seriously, what are we looking at?
Well, I don't think it's going to be that simple, good or bad.
More like a mix.
Yeah, probably. Like, amazing progress and some real challenges.
Makes sense.
We'll probably see AI changing industries like healthcare, education, even art and music. stuff we can't even imagine yet.
I mean, we're already seeing glimpses of that, right? AI making new drugs, composing music.
Yeah. But like you said, there are those downsides.
Like what?
Jobs, that's a big one. As AI gets better, some jobs humans do now, they'll be automated.
So people lose their jobs.
That's the worry. We need to figure out how to retrain people for new types of jobs, ones that need creativity, critical thinking, stuff AI can't do.
Because if we don't, that creates a huge problem, right?
Totally. The benefits of AI only go to some people, others get left behind.
And then there's that algorithmic bias we talked about.
Making sure AI systems aren't making things worse, perpetuating inequalities.
Right, because if the data's biased, the AI will be too...
Exactly. And privacy, that's another big one. As we use more AI, we're creating tons of data about ourselves.
Data that could be used in ways we don't want.
It's not just about the tech itself, it's about the whole system around it.
The social impact, the ethics, even politics.
All of that. So we need these conversations NW, not later.
AI ethics, it's not just some abstract thing.
It has to be part of how we actually build this stuff.
So, concretely, what can we do to make sure AI helps everyone?
Well, research is huge. Keep testing, pushing the limits, but carefully.
Responsibly.
Exactly. And this research, it can't just be tech people.
Oh, you mean bring in other experts?
Yeah. Philosophers, ethicists, sociologists, even artists.
Because it's about more than just code, right?
It's about what it means to be human in a world with AI.
That's deep.
It is. We need to be thinking about, the kind of future we want.
Do we want AI as a partner, or do we want it to, control us?
It's a choice we're making every day.
That's a powerful thought.
It is. The future's not set in stone. We have a say in it.
It's up to all of us, not just the tech people, to make sure AI is used for good.
That's what it comes down to.
Wow. This deep dive, it's been a trip. From the excitement to the scary parts to realizing we have the power to shape this thing.
It's been a great conversation.
I hope everyone listening, they keep thinking about these questions, challenge the hype, and get involved.
Absolutely. This is just the beginning.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI. We'll be back with more soon, so stay tuned.